Hello, everyone. We are back. It's ATX VGC. I'm Rollercoaster, and I am here with the return of my good friend, Sir Wilson. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's up, Rollercoaster? It's good to be casting with you again.
I know. It's good to have you back, man.
Thanks.
I know you took a break from Pokemon. How's that been?
It's been good. You know, during the holiday time, it allowed me to spend more time with family and just kind of work on some personal projects, like my wedlock. That was going up on my YouTube channel. Has been my main thing. So, but I'm super excited for Series 8 back in it.
Yeah, dude, I'm having a lot of fun with it, especially because, again, I've cracked the code of how to beat the meta. You click Tailwind, you click Water Spout, and then you just win.
I have to agree. It's a pretty foolproof strategy.
I've yet to find anyone that can counter it, so...
Yes, the Weather Wars make it a little challenging. Yeah. Okay, so tonight, in this match, we've got Chloe versus Husk, and I can see the top half of their Pokemon. Hold on. Okay, so looking at Chloe's team, I see Lapras, Zacian, Tapu Koko, Landorus, Therian, Incineroar, and Amoonguss. Mm-hmm. And then
this is a really popular team core that did super well in the X9 core, in the X9 league. It's really strong. Zacian is amazing, and like because it can't max, it gives you the option to like have a more supportive max like Lapras.
Indeed. And then on Husk's side, we've got Tapu Koko as well, Electivire.
Oh, apparently that is the incorrect team. Although I would have loved to have seen Motor Drive shenanigans. That would have been fun.
Yes, that would have been so cool. I was so hyped for that. That's all right. Well, we will find out what Husk is bringing. I did notice that these two players have the same the icon, which was kind of a little bit. But we'll see what. There's no restricted mod on that team, so which would be really bold if Husk was bringing that team.
Who needs restricted? I have the power of the Motor Drive.
Yes. Okay.
So, but it'll be interesting to see what they. Oh wait, I think we got it there. Is that one correct? I mean, we should find out in like a second whenever they click "Let the battle begin" and we see the team preview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, waiting for either one, whichever comes through first.
Okay, yeah. So it is. They are bold enough to not bring a restricted. So it is Regidrago, Suicune, Mamoswine, Tapu Koko, Kartana, and Cinderace.
Yeah, love this. I mean, still some pretty strong legendaries there. With the Regidrago, the Suicune is a nice touch. Don't see that often. And Cinderace, I'm super excited to see again. This is a pretty strong. If this was Series 7, I would be still very scared of Husk's team.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like you can get Tailwind up with the Suicune pretty easily, and there's actually like a good amount of things that threaten both the Lapras and the Zacian. Like Mamoswine, super strong, Cinderace, Kartana. Those are all like pretty big threats, and Regidrago is only really checked by the Tapu Koko, I think.
Well, and the Zacian as well.
That's right. Zacian's a fairy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zacian has the most broken typing of Steel and Fairy. It's disgusting.
Mm-hmm. There's only a few. You got Klefki and Mawile, who don't quite pull the same weight as Zacian by a long shot.
Yeah, there's a bit of a stat gap between Klefki, Mawile, and then Zacian.
Yeah. So you could argue Mega Mawile could pack a punch like Zacian does, but without the Megas, it's just...
And Turtles point out Magirna, which is, as far as I'm concerned, being a VGC player, is not a real Pokemon.
Right, for real thing. Yes, but we did forget. All right. So we see the shiny Suicune and shiny Tapu Koko with shiny Lapras, shiny Incineroar out on the field here. Love the shinies.
You got to get those extra style points. So Lapras is kind of threatened, but not too threatened. It depends on how offensive this Tapu Koko is. Even like Tapu Koko's not that strong when something has the ability to Dynamax. So I think like going for a fake out and a resonance into the Tapu Koko seems pretty safe. Like worst case they max, but if they do that, they're maxing their Tapu Koko, and that shouldn't be that good against your Lapras or your Zacian or whatever else you have in the back.
Yeah, and with the electric terrain on the field, that does also threaten Suicune a little bit more with the Lapras potentially running that electric move. But I agree, the fake out from Incineroar seems like the right call. But Tailwind could be the speed advantage could be huge if that Suicune is able to pull that off.
Definitely. It looks like we're seeing the max from Chloe's side. Lapras is slower than both the Pokemon that Husk have, so I think she's the only one that went for this turn. It is going to be the Lapras, doubling his HP, becoming disgustingly bulky, and going to be able to, at the very least, set up a Resonance and potentially do some big damage.
All right, so, and I see in the chat mentioning that Chloe is actually the shiny hunter who provided the shiny Kyogre for last Thursday's ladder tournament as a prize. I did not make that connection, but thank you for pointing that out, and kudos to all the shiny hunting.
All right, so Chloe gets a big max lightning off onto the Suicune. Suicune does manage to get the Tailwind set up, so it's not looking too bad. That's really good damage. Tapu Koko just gets faked out, and yeah, it's a pretty solid turn from both ends.
Yeah, and because Chloe didn't go for the max resonance, Tapu Koko still has a chance to get some pretty big damage off here, and we see the Thunderbolt coming out that does over half to Lapras. Ooh. And it gets the paralysis turn one with the Thunderbolt attack. Oh, and Suicune brings out that Scald, which won't burn the Incineroar, thankfully, but that does quite a bit of chunk without Dynamaxing again in this turn.
And the red card on Incineroar forces the Cinderace out.
Oh, I actually think that kind of works in her favor because Cinderace does not mind this Snarl one bit. It's a little bit of chip damage, but I feel like Husky's in pretty good positioning here with these two Pokemon on the field.
And Resonance comes out into the Tapu Koko, which, just gets the clean knockout.
Yeah. Wow. A lot of damage from Lapras coming out so far. And now we do have the Resonance up. I don't recall if we saw what Lapras' item is, but if it's that Light Clay, this is going to be a pretty hard battle trying to get through those defenses.
There's been no Life Orb recoil, and Weakness Policy didn't proc on the Thunderbolt. So I'm inclined to believe that it's Light Clay. So these screens are going to be here for a while. I also just found $5 in my pocket. Sorry, that wasn't relevant.
Ban Roller Coaster.
But okay, now your screens are up. Cinderace is still really threatening. It's very powerful. It can start just like punching into that Incineroar with some max knuckles and get itself into an even better position. But the screen should give Chloe some survivability here.
Yes, and we have the G-Max Cinderace coming out, standing on top of that fireball. Man, ready to see what it's going to throw out. Would imagine it's Barrow, and we see, the type change. It could go into either one here. Feels like Incineroar is the one you want to get rid of to mitigate. No more. Oh nope, drops it on Lapras. I was gonna say Intimidate would be threatening enough for me to get that and target the Incineroar, but Lapras is also pulling out a chunk of damage right now. So we see the Snarl come out from Suicune as well. Great support tech from the Suicune with the Tailwind and Snarl, reducing Lapras' damage on its final Dynamax turn before it gets any damage off. We're trading stat drops.
And Incineroar parting shots out, and I think the Cinderace just kind of was reading a hard switch from Incineroar and just trying to get itself into a better position. If the parting shot went on to that Cinderace, that would have been way better for Chloe, but it goes to the Suicune, which I still don't think is that big of an issue. And I am super sorry. My dog is going crazy, and I think I need to let him outside.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Take a second, I got this.
I apologize, everyone. I'm really sorry about this.
So that Incineroar will be back. I would imagine it has the opportunity to switch in here to weaken Cinderace's next two turns of Dynamax attacks with the Intimidate pressure, and also potentially preventing future Tailwinds with some Fake Out pressure. Zacian doesn't necessarily have a great typing matchup against the Cinderace right now. Potentially if it stays ferrying out speeds, but with the Tailwind, it's kind of hard to predict what type the Cinderace is going to be for Zacian to attack. What's up, Bush? Oh yeah, come back.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm so sorry. That's very unprofessional. But Cinderace has a lot of potential to just go crazy right now.
Yep, boosting the attack stat. It feels like really safe. Protect will not stop Lapras from falling to that max knuckle. And Cinderace is now at a +2 thanks to that knuckle. Yeah. And
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, luckily there's no beast boost on Cinderace, so so it can't do much. If this gets a burn, that's really, really good for Husk.
Wow.
Oh, and Chloe reads the Sting fighting type to get the damage. That would have gotten the KO if it wasn't for the burn.
Man, that is huge. That is really huge. The Cinderace was going down, but sticking around for its last turn of Dynamax can really put this Incineroar out. But Suicune is pretty much obligated to go for Tailwind here, I think, if you have the chance on its little bit of health surviving to get that off. Potentially, meaning if Cinderace has it, could just go for a max guard to try and have that Tailwind. But as I said, the fake out pressure is here, so probably not going to see the Tailwind get off.
But there is something important to note, is that you cannot fake out Amon with Inner Focus, which unfortunately, I think Chloe has forgot it. And this Fireball at +1 is still going to do a lot to the Zacian through Protect. And I do see a lot of the comments in chat. I'll try to pull up my, bring my dog and show it off on stream.
Wow, Zacian still takes quite a chunk. Oh, and yes, I don't see that that very often with the Inner Focus preventing flinch. I'm really glad to be reminded of that. That's useful for the future.
I forget about it all the time.
Yeah. I was telling Nibs and I were talking the other night, like nothing stops flinches, and then here we are. Inner Focus is flinch first.
Inner Focus stops flinches.
Yep.
Yeah, so now things are looking pretty rough for Chloe. I mean, Cinderace is really low. I think that burn really, really shifted things negatively, and put Husk in just such a good position. But at this point, I think Cinderace just gets a KO, and I don't really know how you can stop that.
Yeah, Pyro Ball seriously going to do the last bit of damage onto Zacian, and I believe Cinderace is sitting +1, so I believe they're running high jump kick. That should easily take out Incineroar next turn. But Chloe, despite all of the status conditions, has really played this fairly well, I will say. Putting up a really good damage mitigation and playing to her outs despite the paralysis and the burn.
Yeah, I don't know what Chloe can have in the back. I mean, Tapu Koko's a really good Pokemon. I think this turn, if she's able to accurately predict who Cinderace attacks, and depending on what Husk has in the back, if Husk has the Regidrago, I think she can still win this for sure. But it's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, the electric terrain was reset, which will definitely boost Tapu Koko's damage. The worst thing that could be in the back for Tapu Koko would be that Mamoswine and forcing fairy attacks.
Gunk Shot.
Oh, it dodges. That's huge.
Oh, that's amazing. Gunk Shot's an insane tech move to have on a Cinderace. It is very uncommon. It is very scary whenever it actually gets used, and that is a huge, huge avoid.
Yeah, that's a big stab poison attack. 120 base power, 70% accuracy, if I do remember correctly. The Scald is not enough to take out the Incineroar, which allows Incineroar to live long enough to Flare Blitz and take down the Cinderace. Man, that whole turn goes entirely differently if Tapu Koko goes down to that Gunk Shot for sure.
And it's the Regidrago in the back, which is incapable of hitting the Tapu Koko. I mean, it could have a coverage move like Hyper Beam or what's the other one? Ancient Power, but I don't think either of those is going to do enough to Tapu Koko, especially behind the screens.
Yeah, the screens are still up, and Regidrago has one more turn of Tailwind, I believe, that we see here. A Fire Fang, that's an interesting tech coming out. It is Life Orb, oil damage.
Interesting. Yeah, but this Dazzling Gleam single target, I think it lived.
Barely. That's a Ghost Focus Sash. With the Snarl.
The invisible focus set. Yeah, that base 200 HP really helpful, but it didn't have anything to take on the Tapu Koko. Presumably why Husk has the Gunk Shot on the Cinderace to deal with berries more easily.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Gunk Shot over like Ironhead for the steel typing, because it's, you know, a little bit reliable with the 100% accuracy. But looking at Husk's team, I could make a good argument that the poison type boosting special type attacks into the support mons like Regidrago, Suicune, and Tapu Koko would boost her offensive power overall in that team.
Yeah, and also Husk has like the strongest steel type in the game, or one of the strongest steel types in the game, which is Kartana. So yeah, game 2. So what do you think the adjustments for game 2 are, Will?
Let's see. Yeah, I think that Husk had a really great lead with the Suicune coming out with Tailwind. Had great positioning with the Tapu Koko as well. And Lapras, you pretty much expect to lead no matter what, just to get that resonance off right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's see the Nibs do emotes the Lapras wink in the chat there.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, I think the fairy types are a must bring. I wouldn't be surprised if Husk leaves the Regidrago behind this time, because that definitely cost him the game. Like, I mean, like, obviously you can't really prepare for a gunk shot miss, but like there's 2 really strong fairies on Chloe's team. I don't really see the Drago doing that much. There's the Kartana.
It did switch it up a little bit. Suicune comes out and Lapras comes out, pretty standard. The Landorus flexing that Intimidate, gonna put Kartana in a little bit less great position with the grass types going into Lapras. So, but I don't think Landorus wants to stay in with the Suicune there, not for too long.
Yeah, I don't think it wants to stay in. I really think you want to get as many Intimidates on this Kartana as you can. Kartana also has a really bad special defense, so like resonances aren't going to do nothing. And just kind of like mitigate the damage from it as much as you possibly could.
Mm-hmm. So here we go right away. Gonna see that Lapras, G-Max Lapras coming out from Chloe. Pretty standard, pretty safe. Gonna get those defenses going. And if I'm a Husk, I don't feel the need to Tailwind, because both of your Pokemon are considerably faster than Chloe's Pokemon potentially. Landorus is faster though, so it gets off the fly. You don't see that too often.
Yeah,
it's a rare moment.
That is a Choice Scarf Fly, and I think and it's Ice Beam on Suicune.
Yes,
that was a good fly, but I don't think this Lightning does enough damage. And now, without the resonance, I guess even with the resonance, a crit Leaf Blade is looking really scary right now.
Yeah, and so is that Ice Beam, because Landorus doesn't have the ability to switch out this turn. And if Suicune has a chance to survive, because I believe that Fly is going to be targeting down the Kartana, not the Suicune, so it may be a trade for both of these trainers right here.
Yeah. Landorus gets a Fly. That does a lot. Jesus, I'm genuinely surprised by that.
So much
we both were so afraid of the crit. You felt it too, Will, right?
Yes. You have to be afraid of that Leaf Blade crit.
Mm-hmm.
Suicune opts to not go for the Ice Beam on Landorus this turn, just to get the Tailwind up. Pretty safe play, considering that the Max Lightning would definitely take it down with the Electric Terrain set this turn.
For sure. And Kartana goes down to the Resonance, which is one of the most threatening things on Husk's team. If either one of those Leaf Blade crits, I think this would have been really, really bad for Chloe. Oh, and the Drago's still here. That's cool. But does Chloe have either of her fairy types in the back?
Safe to think she's probably got one. You must click Fly.
You have to. And now, like, I think you need to kind of do some repositioning to avoid getting a double KO, or at least protect something, because Ice Beam Dragon Energy. Oh God, it's a Max Regidrago, Will. It's a Max Regidrago.
This is gonna be some great damage. I can't wait to see what this Regidrago does. Probably taking down the Lapras just to get it off the field, I would imagine. But this thing could also probably take out the Landorus.
Yeah, I mean, like, Max Lightning. What is this Regidrago set? I do not
Fire
understand.
Fang, very elemental. It's a very elemental dragon with electric and a fire type attack that we've seen so far, and not a dragon type attack yet.
I was unaware that this thing got coverage at all. I thought it was like Regidrago, like it only got dragon type moves. Apparently it gets a lot. Oh, it's Thunderfang.
Yeah, they're running the Fang option, so it's not even a special dragon. It is a physical dragon, which I don't think I've seen Regidrago run physically yet.
Yeah, and it looks like Husk may have been like hard reading a switch from the Landorus, seeing as how that like, okay, you're scarfed, I'm faster, you saw I have Ice Beam, it makes a lot of sense for you to not want to stay in here, but Chloe just decides to stay in, and now a +1 play rough from Zacian is still gonna do a lot to Regidrago.
Yeah, pretty tough spot here because Regidrago can't benefit from its stab moves into Zacian, and the fly will come through, but still, I don't know if that's the target you want to go for. I would be so threatened by this Zacian, you probably want to target it with the max flare. Or the max guard. Okay, very safe play here.
Yeah. Not wanting to take like a play rough, like, because you might not get the burn this time.
Oh,
you got the burn this time, though.
Band roller coaster, he's spoken into existence.
I'm so sorry. The fly actually goes into the Suicune, but a play rough and a fly into Regidrago looked really scary. But now I think you have a fairly safe Ice Beam the Landorus and Fire Fang the Zacian. Does that do enough? Or do you just max more win the Landorus?
That would be a safe call, and the attack stat drop would probably play out in the long run, but Fire Fang could also be just like the safe call to focus down that super threatening Zacian, even though it's burned.
Just a heads up, because apparently Amy can hear my dog barking. That is not him asking to come in, that's him playing with the other dogs outside. My neighbors both have dogs.
Makes sense. So the Incineroar comes in, and we remember in the last battle, it is having red card. So if Suicune goes for Snarl or potentially another Scald, which will be reduced damage in the sunlight, it will get switched out. It goes for the Ice Beam into Landorus, and that's going to force the Suicune out here.
Yeah. Suicune has to switch out. I don't exactly know what Husk has in the bag. Ooh, it's Mamoswine. That's really good to come in. Mamoswine could actually clutch this game out.
Ooh, but the Tailwind ends just at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Protect from both Mon seems likely, either one of them, to prevent the fake out pressure. But I think Suicune is trying to come back in for a Tailwind if I'm Husk.
Yeah, and this is actually kind of like a bit scary because normally the situation would be like Regidrago only has dragon moves, so it just can't win against the Zacian ever. But this Drago has surprisingly a lot of coverage in order to like be able to take out the Zacian. So it's not as easily of a lock. So like there's still a lot of threats here. It depends on what happens in this next few turns.
Regidrago does go for the protect. We see the play rough targeted into the Regidrago. Incineroar did not go for a fake out, surprisingly, and the high horsepower comes from the Mamoswine on his Zacian and takes it out.
Very, very strong move. Flare Blitz is going to come out. I don't know if that does enough to the Mamoswine.
That's boosted in the sun.
I meant to say I don't know if it's focus sashed, which means that it is always a 2-hit KO. But this is actually a lot better for Chloe because now the Scarf Landorus comes in and you can just like Rock Slide, Flare Blitz, or just like Earthquake even. Actually, Earthquake may not be the smartest, but no, actually Earthquake is probably fine because like Suicune can't get a Tailwind up in time and it looks like it's in range of an Earthquake, so yeah, you might as well just Earthquake. I speak everything into existence for Pokemon, Adam. Oh, but Ice Shard will one-hit KO the Landorus. That's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that's going to be a big threat. But Landorus, knowing that it's Choice Scarf, is going to have to go for attack here. No way to protect. So potentially go for the most damage you can if it does have the chance to get an attack off. The Ice Shard comes out. It
Landorus lives.
Wow.
Earthquake comes out.
How much does this do to Incineroar, though?
Incineroar lives.
Wow.
And
Scale Shot?
Scale Shot?
No way.
That's amazing. Because it's going to boost Drago's speed.
That's pretty good. It's not going to be enough to outspeed the Landorus. But if Suicune... we see that Suicune's going to come back in. If Suicune does get the chance to get the Tailwind off, then Regidrago will for sure outspeed the Landorus in the following turn.
I think it's too low. I think it's in range of an Earthquake.
Yeah, that's pretty low health bar. If it goes for protection and single target damage, I think that's a guaranteed knockout onto the Suicune.
Yeah, I think this Landorus is going to be able to clutch it out. Yeah, Earthquake comes out first, and this should just get a double KO. Dang, that was crazy, though.
Wow. The power of screens is real. We're seeing all of that damage and just almost forget that the screens have been the entire time protecting Chloe's team.
That was a pretty insane set. But yeah, screens are just like too powerful. And Zacian is very strong, as well as Landorus and Incineroar.
Yeah, and both trainers decide to switch up their teams, and I feel like they had some pretty good adjustments considering, like, I really like seeing the Husk brought his Mamoswine for this second battle. I think that was one of the best answers he could. It just was unfortunate timing that Mamoswine came in without Tailwind up.
Yeah, the red card surprisingly put in a lot of work in this set.